Who you choose to marry is one of the biggest and most important decisions you can make in your entire life, and who you choose can either greatly benefit you and enrich your life or make it harder. Hello, and welcome back. If you're new here, my name is Jillz, and I talk about things like feminine energy, self-improvement, and wellness for women. So if that's something you're into, you should absolutely hit that red subscribe button below, as well as that notifications bell too, so you don't miss when I put out any new videos. So in today's video, we're talking about the 10 traits of a high-value man that I think are so important, but especially important when it comes to marriage, or just having a long-lasting, fulfilling, successful relationship. Now, the first trait that I think is super important when it comes to being a high-value man is that he has goals, he has dreams, and he has a purpose. Or if you guys are much younger, he's at least trying to actively discover what that is. And this usually will align with his career in some way. If he has no desire to strive for anything, if he's lazy, if he just kind of gets through the day and then sits on the couch in front of the TV and doesn't think about the bigger picture, then I can pretty much guarantee you that he won't make a very good husband. A high-value man is ambitious and really wants something from his life, and this is super attractive to the feminine. There's nothing more repelling to a feminine woman than a man who has no idea what he's doing or what he wants from his life or where he's trying to go, and just uses TV, food, drugs, alcohol, video games to numb himself and escape from his reality. This is not a high-value man, and if this is how he acts in his life and in his career, then he will treat your relationship the same. He will put in no effort. Now, when it comes to masculine and feminine energy in general, of course, this is always generalities, the feminine's most important thing in her life is her relationships and her connections and her community. But the masculine's most important thing in his life is his purpose. And that doesn't mean that a masculine man can't also deeply care about his relationships. And that doesn't mean that a feminine woman doesn't also have a purpose outside of her relationships. Of course, you can absolutely have both. But as a man, to feel really fulfilled in his life, he needs a purpose. He needs something outside of you, something bigger that he's trying to create and work towards. He won't fully feel fulfilled until he has this. And in a partnership, you want your partner to feel fulfilled in their life. That's important. Another thing that makes a man high value and marriage material is generosity, wanting to provide, wanting to make your life better. If you are a feminine woman, then you will naturally want a more masculine partner. And what comes with that masculine energy is their ability and their drive to provide and protect and to want to enrich your life. Now, obviously, we want to enrich his life as well, and we tend to do that in different ways, but you want to know that in a marriage and in a partnership, that your person is trying to improve your life and make you happy. Generosity is actually one of the biggest predictors for a successful, happy, long-lasting relationship. And so having a partner that is generous is so important. Now, let's just get direct here. When we talk about providing, does that mean that he has to have a lot of money? Well, it can, but it doesn't have to be. You can provide and be generous in many ways, but money can be one of them. You know, there's no denying that it can help. In today's world, money does buy safety and security and opportunity. But does he already have to be super financially successful to be marriage material? Well, of course, it depends on you and your preferences. And I also think it can depend on what stage of life you're in. You know, full transparency, if I was dating in my 50s, having financial success, a partner having financial success would be a pretty high requirement for me, I'm not gonna lie. But if I'm dating in my early 20s, I'm dating a man who's 22, the chances of him having true financial success at that age and being able to provide for someone is very slim. That's very rare. But is he on his way? Is he actively trying to get there? Is he ambitious? Does he have goals? How successful is he at this stage in his life? And how generous is he with other things in his life? Because how generous he is with you with other things can predict how generous he'll want to be with finances in the future. And honestly, I do think there's something special about being there in the very beginning when he is still building himself, and then rooting him on through that process and seeing him succeed and celebrating his success together. That's just my 2 cents on that. But regardless, if your partner is not generous and actively wants to make your life better and actively wants to make your life easier, and if he doesn't have a provider mentality, whether you want him to provide financially for you or not, then he might not be marriage material, especially if you are a feminine woman. Okay, so number 3, it's also so important that you're with a man who learns from his mistakes, because here's the thing, we all make mistakes and we will all continue continue to make mistakes until the day we die. And even a high value man will make mistakes. But the real question is, does he learn from them? Does he take that knowledge and use it as he moves forward in his life? Or does he keep repeating the same mistakes over and over and over again? Does he choose to ignore those learning lessons? Is he able to take feedback and really try to listen and understand and improve himself? Or does he push it away because it hurts his ego? You can't expect anyone to be perfect, including your future husband. But how does he handle those mistakes? That's the crucial part. Does he own his mistakes and take responsibility for them? Or does he try to blame them on other people or other things? A man who takes responsibility for his mistakes and has the maturity and awareness to learn and grow from those mistakes and use them as an opportunity to better himself, that is a man that you want in your life. Now, if he's a high value man, then he will know what he wants and he will go after it. And therefore, his feelings should be very clear about you. None of that hot and cold, wishy-washy kind of crap. Sometimes he invites you out, sometimes he completely ignores you, or he's not communicating any real interest. No. He should be very clear and consistent about how he feels and not just tell you, but show you that he cares and that he's interested in you. And if he's not interested in you, then a high value man will just communicate this just honestly and directly, whether it's with his words or with his actions. If you're seeing a guy and he won't step up and commit and he's not really pursuing a relationship with you, then it's okay to let him go. When you find the right guy, someone who is marriage material and is also super into you, then you will know how he feels. It will not be a question and he will prioritize you in his life. And that's what you want. Someone who clearly and openly cares about you and really wants you in his life. You shouldn't be trying to convince him. Next, number 5, a high value man who is marriage material is not afraid to take on responsibility. So the masculine has an interesting relationship with responsibility because here's the thing. Men tend to kind of want to avoid responsibility because it can feel stifling and the masculine really values freedom. But at the same time, taking responsibility for something is one of the things that will actually help him to feel the most fulfilled in life. So it's something that the masculine will sometimes push away, especially when they're younger, even though it's the one thing they need to feel good and to grow and to feel fulfilled and like they have a purpose. So you want a man who can see that, who is willing to take on responsibility, because marriage is a big responsibility. If you want kids, having kids is a big responsibility. In a committed relationship, and especially if you want to be more of the feminine energy in that relationship, you need to be with a masculine partner who is okay leading and willing to take charge and take on that leadership role when needed. A high value man will not shy away from responsibility, and instead he'll step into it. And when you're with someone who's able to do this, this will lead to a more secure and trusting relationship. Another thing that makes a man high value is that he takes care of himself. Does he take care of his body and his mind? That is so important. Does he care about his health? Does he just eat crap food all the time? Does he move his body? If a man doesn't have the discipline and the commitment to take care of himself, will he be able to have the discipline and commitment in other areas of his life? Maybe. Probably not. I 100% don't think he needs to be perfect, not at all, but if he's just binging on fast food every night, if he never goes to the gym, and if he just doesn't care at all and that's just like his normal lifestyle, then that's a little bit concerning. Again, he doesn't need to be obsessive about this, but it needs to be on his mind and taken seriously. Our health matters and our commitment to ourselves matter. And not only will this lack of commitment and lack of self-care show up in other areas of his life, but also you want a partner who is vibrant, who has energy, who will hopefully be around a long time, who is mentally clear. When a man is unhealthy, it's gonna make it a lot harder for him to step into the high value masculine partner that you want and that you deserve. A high value man also has resilience and a growth mindset as opposed to a fixed mindset. This resilience and this ability to grow is one of the biggest strengths you can have because there will inevitably be times where he will get knocked down or something will happen. But how does he respond? Does he get back up again? Does he stay strong through the face of adversity and keep going? Or does he run away from it and hide? And I think resilience and a growth mindset kind of go hand in hand, because those with a fixed mindset, they believe that things are already kind of set in stone and they can't really do much about things. But having a growth mindset means instead of backing down, trying to figure things out. Instead of saying, I don't know how to do this, they say, I can learn how to do this. With a growth mindset, they are not defined by their failure, and instead they can see it as an opportunity, and they always continue to push forward. And you need a man like that in your life, a man who won't give up, a man who will fight for you and your family, a man who is always growing and learning and trying to better himself. These are such important qualities to have and is a huge determining factor if he is indeed a high value man or not. And next, number 8 is that he stands by his values and he doesn't get pushed around, and he can be assertive and stand up for himself when he needs to. Now, assertive doesn't mean aggressive. attractive, but he needs to be comfortable with who he is and what he believes in and what he cares about. And he can't just be a pushover and have no boundaries. And truthfully, if you're with a man who just kind of gets walked all over, you will likely lack some respect for him, and that will not lead to a healthy relationship dynamic, especially when it comes to masculine, feminine energy. That's just not the dynamic you want to have. And with that said, a high value man who stands up for himself will also stand up for you too. And that is what you need in a marriage and what you need to feel secure and to be able to relax into your feminine energy. Now, to be a high value man in marriage material, he also needs emotional intelligence. And this is a non-negotiable. It's very difficult to be in a healthy relationship with someone who lacks emotional intelligence. So emotional intelligence is how well a person can identify their emotions, manage their emotions, and be self-aware, but also be aware of the emotions of others and have empathy and have understanding for others and being able to handle social situations and all that. And emotional intelligence is really critical for a man to have because this affects his relationships, not just with you or his romantic partner, but with his friends, with his family, with his work colleagues, with everyone. This will affect if people enjoy being around him, if he's a good friend, if he succeeds at work, and if he's able to have a happy and fulfilling, successful relationship. And of course, the most important of them all, does he have high integrity? A high value man always has high integrity, and this is a non-negotiable for someone that you are choosing to spend the rest of your life with. Is he honest? Is he loyal? Is he trustworthy? Does he have good intentions? Does he make you feel secure? Does he lead with love? If he doesn't have these traits, then just go and skedaddle in another direction because this probably won't lead to a happy and secure relationship. So does he fulfill his promises? Does he keep his word? Does he make you question his loyalty to you? How does he treat other people? How does he treat the waiter? How does he treat his mom? Is he kind and genuine, or does he constantly talk about people behind their back? Having high integrity is the most important characteristic of them all. Now that you've learned the traits of a high value man, I highly recommend you go check out this video here, how to be in your feminine energy in romantic relationships. There's so much good info in there when it comes to relationships and how to thrive as the more feminine partner. So I will see you over there, or I will see you in my next video. Bye.